Hi, I'm Dylan Paris, and you just saw me perform this beat that I made yesterday, but performed just now. This performance, I hope, showcases why I really have been getting into Garageband on iPad, and that's because it has a really similar workflow to Ableton now, because you can start in the live loops area, which is where I built out all of the fundamental parts of my track, and then performed that recording for you, including live effects, which then captured everything I did into this timeline, including the effects right here, which I think is really cool. A lot of people on Reddit have been asking, why am I using GarageBand and not like Chord Gadget or AUM or Cubasis or all these other DAWs? And there's a couple reasons. The first one is stability. GarageBand for me so far has been the most stable DAW I've used besides Chord Gadget, and Chord Gadget doesn't allow loading in multiple audio unit V3s within Chord Gadget. You can use Type A to trigger external MIDI, but that's not quite the same for me. I really like having everything inside the same DAW with editable MIDI data and recordable audio, etc. Along with that, basically no other app on iPad can do a clip live recording into a timeline. I think Beatmaker 3 might allow that. I know you can build in scenes and then bring it over to a timeline, but I've had so many technical issues with Beatmaker 3 that I just stopped using it, sadly. That said, most of the functionality that I was looking for is in GarageBand. I've talked about this before. There are things that are missing, such as decibel level, a more intricate EQ, although you can use plugins to replace that, and there's no master track that you can add master effects to, which sucks. I thought we were going to see Logic at WWDC, but we didn't. So now I'm kind of hopeful either we get that soon or they just add a couple more updates to GarageBand to really make it even more powerful. But in the meantime, I've really been enjoying this app. I've used it like every day on my lunch break, just making tracks, enjoying the workflow. I feel really drawn to this thing despite its limitations, and I wanted to break down how I built this track out. So the first track is an instance of FAC Drumkit. I love the FAC apps. I've used a lot of them. Oh, and also none of the apps in here are sponsored. None of them were free. I don't believe I used a single app I got for free. I paid for all of this. I paid for the iPad. GarageBand is free. But as far as the external sounds, I paid for them. This is not sponsored in any way. So yeah, this app just came out yesterday, the FAC Drum Kit. And what excited me about it is that you can load your own samples into 16 different pads, as well as add synth layers. So this is pad 1, and this is a kick sample from Splice. Actually, I think the kick is just the kick sample, but if we go to that snare, there's a little bit of an oscillator noise on there too. So it's layering a synth sound and a drum sound, and that's also true for this hi-hat. The snare has a little bit of a pitch to it, that little tone. And then the hi-hat has that kind of like glitchy synth sound. And that's where I started to feel like I was working in kind of an early 2000s beat space. So on top of that, I added one of the GarageBand drum kits, Midnight Vanguard. And those, as you heard, at the beginning are the two things that are playing. We'll go back here. That's what this sounds like. Once I had that, I thought it would be fun to mess with the sampler. It's really basic. It's a really basic sampler. But I had a vocal choir sample from Splice. And I reversed it. You can see it says reverse in gold. This is reversed. And I think that's the only thing I changed, except I added some additional effects, I believe. I added FAC Chorus, so the same dude who makes the Drum Kit app. He has a really good chorus app that I use a lot. And then Blackhole Reverb. So this is what it sounds like without. Let's, whoops. Finicky. There we go. That's dry. And that's with the effects. I thought that sounded pretty cool. Then I used an instance of Phasemaker, which was really high pitched, so I'm pretty sure I used the visual EQ to take a lot of the top end out. I can turn that off and you can hear. See, it's really scratchy. So I just took all that out. And I'll show you what that sounds like when all four are playing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the bedrock of the beat. And I love building in this clips view because this linear line is the whole song, but I can trigger different parts at different times. Anyway, stop that. Stop these clips. All right, the next one was another vocal. So this is another sampler. This is also reversing. I did some pitch work as well. Oh no. I changed it. There we go. I did some tuning. I added Kosmonaut, which is a delay plugin. Next thing I used was the 909 from Audiokit. I tend to buy every Audiokit app when it comes out. Sometimes I've had stability issues with them, but they have really nice sounds. Here's this one. I just was playing hi-hats basically. There's a bunch of sounds in this preset. If I can go down. But I'm just playing these two. And I feel like they added a nice little bit of a layer here. If I stop that, and then boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Then I added another drum kit here. Really basic layering. You can't overdub these recordings, right? Like once you've recorded a loop, I have not found a way to then add more MIDI data live into that loop. So to accommodate or to compensate for that, I have been just adding new drum layers on top, which I think is actually good because it'll make the mixing and exporting and mastering process easier. A lot of this song is drums, like in a way that not most of my tracks are. A lot of this is just different drums. In fact, I'll load up every single drum sound that's in here. I also use Digitstix, or Digitstix. I'm so used to Electron, Digitone. Anyway, use Digitstix. I think this is every drum sound that's in here. So yeah, little spoiler alert for that. I then added a bass from Alchemy Synth. This is the deep thump bass, and this is the first. Every Alchemy synth has 8 options within it, which is really cool. Don't sleep on those. And I just used the first one of those. Next is Gritty Bells, which I believe is another Alchemy synth. I EQ'd a little bit on this as well. Took more top end out. This is what it sounds like without. Too scratchy for me. And then I added this Lagrange synth below it as like a pair. I then also panned these two separately, right? So this one's going to the right, this one's going to the left. And these two kind of work together. The Lagrange is the more on beat, and the Gritty Bells is a little bit more atmospheric. And so now you've seen this is every single sound. And what's cool is, I've hit no limits. This is the M1 iPad Pro. It's got 16 gigs of RAM, which after WWDC feels like extreme overkill. Who even knows if they're ever going to take advantage of that? I decided not to make a reaction video. I feel like enough people have made reaction videos. Here's the thing for me. Yes, it's frustrating there are limitations and that they're not taking full advantage of the hardware right now. But while that was happening, I was also having the most fun I've ever had making music, or some of the most fun I've ever had making music, using GarageBand on this thing. So yeah, I think maybe it's overpowered for now, but I also love not having any glitches. I'm screen recording right now. I can do live performances. I can have an audio interface plugged in, screen capture, the whole 9 yards, and not run into any issues. So I am using some of the power because I couldn't always do that with a 2020 iPad Pro. So anyway, yeah, that's the beat, and you've already seen the performance, but yeah, here's the final track all laid out that you saw at the beginning. I think this is a really fun way to make songs. I'm really excited to see more plugins come out, potentially Logic Pro come out, but in the meantime, I don't feel like I'm hurting for stuff to do with this iPad. So I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you enjoyed the process. All right, consider liking the video and subscribing. It does help small channels like mine grow. And consider checking out my music on Spotify or Bandcamp under the name Dylan Paris. I have an album out called There's Something Better. I'm very proud of it, and I would love for you to check it out. All right, have a great day. I'll see you next time.